that now I can carry out a discussion without uttering Yuji's name. But I can also talk all about Yuji if it is necessary.
That's
so to me, it's contextual. If somebody comes, wants to discuss about things, until they ask me, I don't have an intention to say anything.
So the process is complete.
Yeah.
You're swimming in the river of life.
So because I don't feel that I have an obligation. I have no obligation. Because if there's a sense of obligation is there, that means I'm trying to repay. I can never repay what he did for me.
Sure. You can just leave.
It is impossible. I mean, it is an irreversible process that what I received from him is, there is no question of giving back light to the sun. It is one way. If there is any purpose, it has to fulfill that purpose.
That's why, definitely. When did that came, that transformation from the specific full surrender until the expression of like the harmony with life that you seems to have now?
That after his
long
death.
time. Yeah, I figured. Same for me.
His death is a tremendous conscious experience on my body.
Oh. You were there. I saw the video yesterday night
along.
in Valle Crocia. You were there near the door.
All along.
Sitting,
All along. I was there, and I did not go until he died. I promised to myself, I'm going to be here, and I'm not going anywhere, because I could not stay. When he was sick, I went there. I stayed for 2 weeks. I came back to work. It was the most impossible task on my life to be away from him even for a second.
Interesting. That's really strong.
So I just told everything aside and came back to Valle Crocia. And because there was a movement at the end, Yuji didn't, he's a person, he doesn't want to interfere in anybody's individual life. So he perceived that it was a kind of a death watch. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And everybody's mind, say you have a job, okay? And you are sitting there, you are uneasy, You don't know when it is going to happen. It's not God's, like tomorrow is going to come as Sunday, church, holy day. It's not going to happen. So they're all watching, and Yuji said, you know what? I dissolved everything. Everybody go home, all are going home, and no one stays here.
Was it like Mahesh at the end only?
Yeah. Mahesh and
Susan, right?
and Susan and Larry. These three were there, and there was Mario, who is a local Italian boy. He was going in and out, coming. So I told Mahesh, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going anywhere. If he comes back, well and good. If he doesn't come back, I want to see myself. So I hanged out. I knew it's going to end.
Okay.
But I wanted to.
You have to be there still.
I have to be there. I did not want to, and that was the best thing I have ever done in my life. I was all alone.
That moment.
Yeah. That duration of a week is just a different kind of revelation in my physiological system. And
that's very interesting. I hope you could detail that a little bit.
I will tell you one story that is really, really mind-boggling story. So the thing is that Yuji used to fall, because towards the end he had some problem, and he would not do any testing. So there were doctors, they were all having speculation and all these things, and whatever it is. So one day in Valle Crocia he fell, and the moment he fell, we got the news, and then I told Julie, oh my God, again he fell. Already he was very frail, and I don't know what to do. We were just thinking. So I went home, and I had a vivid dream. That was so funny. In fact, I had two dreams. One was before he fell. Yuji was telling me, do this, climb that. And I told Yuji, it is very nice, we'll do it systematically. And he was trying to show off, do this, do that. And then he fell.
Oh.
I just broke my heart.
In your dream?
In my dream. He fell. I said, I couldn't even look what happened to him, I was just shocked. And anyway, he was alive. And then 2 days later, it came that he fell.
He fell,
So, holy shit. And then he fell, and then we were thinking what to do. And again that night I dreamt. It was the most funny dream in my life. See, I never... that will... No, I don't want to mystify you. Don't mystify your mind.
I'm mystified enough.
I looks like I'm putting fuel to your...
They do the same.
firing mind. So what happened is that I never saw a particular place where Ramakrishna was there.
Ah, okay, here you go. Okay.
I didn't know.
You mean the mandir? And which one?
No, mandir I used to go. But
the house is
Kashipur.
Yeah.
It's called Uddanbati.
Okay.
Uddanbati is a house where he died.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Okay, I will tell you the story. So I had a dream of seeing Sri Ramakrishna on his deathbed in Uddanbati.
Beautiful.
But I never visited Uddanbati. I did not see Uddanbati.
And
it is so bizarre. And I came back to Julie and I told Julie, I know you wouldn't like my dream, but this is the end. If there is anything that triggered in this, so whether it is end or not, I don't know. But what I got is that I'm going there.
You guys were in the States at the time? Or?
I'm in the States. I'm going there. So went there and I stayed there. So then during that time, I was going through a lot of things in my body anyway. And
because you had your own transformation, now I've come to know that you had that process. Was it already engaged, or was it after he died, or was it during that transition?
No. That started from Palm Spring. It really, and it proliferated in for a long time. I don't know. I mean, I can't say I had a calamity, but
it looks like it.
I wouldn't say anything about calamity. But what I say is that it is a process that one can go through.
Yeah.
I don't know. It can happen. Anyway,
so
towards the end.
My question is it gradual or was it like instantaneous? It started at a specific point you met him, but that kind of transformation over a few years, was it gradual or?
See, the most prominent effect that I could perceive was after coming back from Palm Springs.
Okay.
2 consecutive nights.
That's why I felt the book.
I had that tremendous effect, which is like
transformation in your
I mean, like it burst something in my chest, and something alive came there.
Because you talked about the second heart at some point.
Yeah. That is only that it looked like there's something activated in thymus, and it become palpable, like the heart.
Yes, I know.
Okay. So then I realized that it happened to Sri Ramakrishna, because I wrote the book after that, because he asked me to read, and then, but that is not an end. After that, when again Yuji came, I stayed with him for 2 weeks, and entire 2 weeks, my whole chest was on fire. My entire DSP,
What time was it?
plexus. That is about almost like 8 months after Palm Springs. Okay, and it was like burning away, and at different time at different places. You know, and goes on.
Because
It's painful. But the thing is that it has its own purpose. I am just a processor, you know.
No
The
choice.
It's not my doing, or it's not in my hand, you know. And at one point I asked Yuji, so many things are happening. He said to me, this is the most beautiful thing that I ever heard from him, and from that day onwards I knew he was real. He was the most integrated individual that I was fortunate to land. He said, it is not in my hand, it is not in your hand. Leave them alone. Life will find its own way to do things in its own. You just, because he never ever either mystified or told something that is not appropriate for me. Never.
Did
He
you
had
observe
zero self-interest.
at the time of this? Again, another question about context. When these things happen inside, is it also accompanied sometimes by event on your outside life?
Oh yeah, a lot. I mean, I
work, family.
I didn't perceive, but things were happening. People thought that I had some kind of magical power. People thought, I didn't know. What happened is I see people when I talk. I don't know them. They don't know even subjects that's not that familiar. But I have a knack of talking to people limited to my knowledge into what is understandable to them. Suppose if I talk to a physicist, I can bring about lot of intricacies. Talk about I have a lot of philosopher friends. I go deep into all kinds of things. But if I talk to another person, say housewife, I never utter one word.
To the
because I am talking to the person. I have no reason to inundate that person with words that has no meaning. I am talking to a person to make sense to their head, so that whatever it has effect, it should give a helping hand to that effect. You know, so
I feel also a lot of kindness. For me, it's helpful. I like the way you make things round, and that dimension of affection probably you had with him. Is he helping, like channeling his fire or his electric fire in a way that is digestible for us, you know, without feeling electric?
A lot of people actually told me that, you know, and what he told me, two things. Don't advise anybody unless they ask. Number two, do not mystify anything. And third thing, I am telling you, he told me, there is no such thing as spiritual potential. It took a long time for me to understand that. And finally I understood in the terms, when we talk about human potential, in social context, we talk about the usage of the talent. The use of the talent is to find one's own needs, and like I have a specific need. I need to be in the city. I need to take care of my family. I use my talent to support myself. There is no such thing as in spirituality. Potential, you use it for living purpose. You do not use.
Agree.
So don't think that spirituality will give you something that make you live better. That's not going to happen.
Sure.
You may, he didn't say that, I feel that you may gain a very strange richness that money alone cannot give you. Richness means a sense of poise and balance, sense of desire and desire fulfillment, sense of your, like, what you expect from the society and your realistic valuation about yourself. If they go hand in hand, there is no depression. Depression means you think you are so brilliant that you should get so much from the society.
But you don't get.
So then that means there is something not harmonious here. The sense of the lack of conflict will happen only when there is a harmony between your want and your
expectation and the reality.
exactly.
Which is why the simple living of vairagya or minimalism,
Yeah.
what he said about having a place to sleep and to eat only and then not start the loop of, which is interesting for me. I sort of
Because I found Yuji's living is not geared by his ideas. Yuji's living was something that is naturally driven in him that he couldn't live any other way. You know what I mean? Like a free animal, it will be very difficult for it to live any other way. So his living was a signature of the way he was functioning. The freedom that it translated in my head is emancipation, but on a very different context. Emancipation is anything that you gravitate towards in your mind, creates a sense of desire, and if there is a sense of desire, the not fulfillment of desire is a conflict that breeds within and proliferates. Okay, so emancipation is a freedom for the system not undergo such conflict within ever.
And that kind of conflictual desire thing.
See, what I feel always like this, I don't want to practice anything that is not naturally happening from me.
But
if I see a person,
the obsession for Yuji was natural for you. That kind of thing.
Because if it was not natural, if I could cultivate, I could replace him and cultivate somewhere else.
Yeah.
I could not.
Yeah, okay. But
so
then,
because it was not me who was cultivating it. It was a togetherness. It was happening. It was like something that took place in me.
Then what is happening now in your life? Now that is gone. What replaced that kind of
there is
figure?
No replacement.
So
there is no replacement.
How is the cycle of happiness
I don't know what is happiness actually.
You don't know anymore since Yuji is gone, or you didn't know already then?
No, what I know is that the sorrow cannot stay here. All I can see is that my total neurobiological circuitry rejects sorrow.
Nice.
Okay, and no matter what's the reason, it somehow eliminates it. Even though
how do you do?
How
you focus on? No, I mean, how does it do? It focuses your mind and your attention on positive
sometimes,
things?
suppose if I am involved in certain things, my body and brain goes through a process which eliminates it. It's not me doing. It's like you have a good immune system. You don't know even you have been affected by bacteria or virus. Body took care of it. It may have feeling some fever or some convulsion, but at the end of it, you are repaired. That means the body, the immune system worked for you to make you again normal.
Yeah.
So my neurobiological circuitry, it removes those kind of affectation from me. Nothing like suppose if I am discussing with you and I really liked you and there is a very nice feeling about it, but if I go tomorrow, it's all gradually gone. I'm going to involve with another person who is showing interest.
Sure.
It's always like I don't want to define itself because I feel if I have no choice, if somebody is really interested to find out things from me,
it has to flow.
I have no choice. I have no choice but to attend to that person. It's like
Yuji was the same.
to me he was like he responded. Otherwise, where could I have got such an individual who gave me instead of I gave him?
I think it is really helpful also to understand the essence of what was emanating basically Yuji with you people, rather than just for us when we read about his life and again deconstructing non-duality, etc. I think it's very important.
That is
to
all.
present
I mean, what I'm saying is that I don't want to limit anything into anything, but what I'm saying is, suppose if there is an individual, and if for that individual to get into what is being said and what was the most important aspect of that individual that he should get or exposed to, if it is happen to be good things, then it is beneficial to that person. Before he comes to know anything, if he gets got some information that was not likable by him, and he did not even exercise the possibility of finding something good there, so that's a loss for that person, you know. So that way, the all aspects should be there, but to me, what ultimately was most beneficial to me was the existence of a living personality like you. And in the beginning, I stopped talking to people because when he was alive, that was my...
Yeah, you were like in receiving, not in
Not
transmitting.
just receiving. Anybody I talked to, my interest was gravitating them to experiment themselves with UG. Open mind, experiment yourself with UG, and when you come close one-to-one, maybe you
You didn't
will...
want to interfere. You mean
Ah,
yeah.
not only I interfere, I also want, at that time, to me it was like this. I had headache, okay? And somebody is having headache. And when they asked me, you had headache, now you don't have, what did you do? So honestly, I will tell them what kind of medicine did I take. So that was exactly what I used to tell them, that see, UG is, to me, see, I cannot say a person that you read JK, it will help. I cannot say that because it didn't. It didn't means it didn't finish me, you know. I can't say that you should not read JK at all. I cannot. But if he says what happened to you had happened if you just read JK alone, I would straightforward, positively say I don't know. What I'm saying is that I have no idea of anything happening to me but for meeting UG. Okay, that was like, to me it was, I'm sorry to say this term in this way, it was like a particular person is pregnant because she was with me, we had sex together, and that's the only reason she's pregnant. It was almost like that. For me, it was that specific. Can I prove it? No, because we don't have genetic tool to determine that whose baby somebody is carrying. Oh, I don't have, because it is a subject who is reporting. So as much as you can rely on or take away home from the description of the subject is only available,
Yes.
nothing more than that, you know. So, and it limits there. But I don't say anybody that other than this, things are not possible. I never say
No,
that.
no, I understand.
I couldn't do anything when UG was alive. That was not my doing or anything. I was just completely taken over by a powerful force, and there was no question. I never asked anything. All I did is, like, I asked, now I want to come, can I come? If he says yes, I go. If he says no, I wait for the next.
Yeah.
Okay? That was my life, and there was
Nice.
nothing
No
I could...
confusion. Yeah, no, but that
I
is
had
necessary.
No confusion.
That is
No, what I'm
necessary.
saying is that it was not my decision or calculated move. It was none of these things. I just was completely taken over by these things. And as I told you, after UG's death, something else happened. Something else happened means I was very sad. I was very sad, and I was in the bed, and I realized after a couple of days, my whole system completely.
That was the 3 days in the bed story?
Oh, that is even before. That is another thing. But this time it was like I was in the bed for 2 days, but conscious and awake. But on the third day, I could not feel. I mean, there was so much of gushing of the life and its energy. So much of gushing.
Yeah, no place for
there is
sorrow.
no place for sorrow. Absolutely, it is just wiped out. You know, and every day I'll be dreaming something or other,
Yeah.
a mystical thing, and things will go away from my head. But I remember a few instructions from him that I took that as a very specific instruction to use my scientific knowledge, reasoning,
Yes.
to as much as possible to give a point of view and its foundation without mystifying.
That's what I mean, yes.
Yeah, because he says, because there are many things we don't know, but we can infer by seeing the examples of life, you know, like addressing well-being, the healing mechanism that the body unleashes by itself if it gets a proper chance, you know, all these things are, I use it to place my point of view.
Yes.
And if a logic or tarka, if it can proceed only up to some extent, and it cannot bring a connection to the inference, I leave it there as an unknown.
It's good. And to accept, to leave it as an unknown without...
To accept means I do not know. So if I do not know, I do not want to.
I don't need to build something.
I do not want to build out of my pre-existing conditional belief.
Out of anxiety for not knowing.
No. Often it is to prove others that I know.
Also, yes.
It is a very devious thing in our brain, and if, see, in my functional reality, to some people, for example, if it is helpful for my grandma to believe in what she is believing, to alleviate her suffering, I wouldn't tell her, grandma, this is all bullshit, don't believe in that. Because she believes in vague things does not take away my love and affection for her at all. I love her equally. I will not try. I will show my affection differently. I may not buy her argument.
Of course. Of course.
So what is the objective? Objective is her well-being, not her ideology. If I find that in her ideology there is something really offensive, then I will try to reason her. Look, this is not good for others. This is not good for you. This is really bringing a major crisis and conflict in your mind and others' mind. Try to look at it in a different way. I do not like fundamentalism. One of the most important ideology about what moved me for Krishnamurti was that I hate fascism because I was growing up. And then when it came down to this fundamental structure of thought, thinker, and a fascist move in the thinker to establish a specific thought, then I realized that this is the revelation. I call it revelation. I realized when I was doing communism and I was so involved in the authority of my leader, I took his authority, his infallible authority. I forgot that is also fascism. See, I was against Hitler and Mussolini about their fascist idea.
And we become Stalinian.
Yeah,
I know. This is all the intellectuals actually basically even here in your... I have to let you have your lunch also at some point.
Yeah. We